to Education in the Diaspora. If you are new here, my name is Tisha, and this is the platform where people who have studied abroad share their experiences and give us tips on how to apply for schools and scholarships. Today, we are talking about studying in Thailand, and we have here a very special guest, okay? My guest for today holds a BSc in Mathematics from the KNUST in Kumasi, Ghana. He also holds an MSc in Applied Mathematics from the Prince of Songkhla University in Thailand, and he's currently pursuing a PhD in the same university and also working as a research assistant at the Medical Data Center for Research at the End Innovation at Faculty of Medicine. Okay, my guest for today is Mr. Benjamin Atta Owusu. Hello, Mr. Owusu. Welcome to Education in the Diaspora.
Thanks for having me, Tish. I'm very glad to be here.
Yeah, so how is Thailand?
Well, so far we are surviving COVID, so I'll say everything is okay.
Yeah, I hope we are also having a great weather.
Oh, the weather is not a problem for me. It's almost the same as the weather in Ghana.
In Ghana, okay, that's good then. It's not cold, so yeah.
It's not very cool. It's not very hot.
Yeah, that's good. That's fair. Okay.
Yeah, it's not very hot, so you're managing.
You're managing. Okay. So our viewers would like to know why Thailand? I mean, usually we are thinking of English-speaking countries, since in Ghana official language is the English language. So why Thailand?
Why Thailand?
Yeah.
Well, Thailand is relatively a good place to be if you know, but then you can never know unless you decide to explore.
Mm-hmm.
And once a while you have to take a chance. So why Thailand? Thailand because you need to take a chance to know something different.
Yeah. Well, and has it been worth it?
It's been more than worth it. The exposure, the experience, the knowledge, it's been more than worth it. It's relatively a place where a lot of people don't go, but it's worth it.
Okay, I'm sure my viewers are dying to hear the reasons why it is worth studying in Thailand. Okay.
Yeah, of course, definitely.
Yeah, so can you share with us how you found your school?
Okay, so initially, when I was searching, it started from Google, and then I happened to have a relative who was already in Thailand, so I got a few links, and then because the language was not absolutely in English, it was quite challenging. And then I just contacted a relative who was here to try to explain to me some of the opportunities around. And then he did, and then I took a chance. So he suggested to me which schools he thought was better, and then I took a chance.
Okay, so did you study in English or in Thailandese, if that's the name of the language?
It's Thai language.
Thai language, okay.
Yes. So the good thing is that their undergraduate programs, most of them, about 60 to 70% of the undergraduate programs are in Thai, but all postgraduate programs are in English. So you don't have to go through the unpleasant experience of learning their language before you study with them, because their postgraduate education is really in English for every part of the country.
Oh, okay. Okay, then that's good enough, because you wouldn't have to spend less a year studying the language before enrolling in whatever program you want to study in. Okay, so you said that someone took you through the process. Okay, can you share with us how the application process is like? I mean, with your experience.
Probably is applying to schools in Thailand is one of the easiest, if you'd ask me. Easier than most schools in Ghana, because it's just a one-page application where you submit your your details, your academic credentials, your referees, your resumes, and everything. It's just a one-page application, and it was relatively simple to be and it was completed within a day. So applying to schools in Thailand is not as hectic as you find in applying to other schools.
Okay.
It's very simple, but they are very strict with regards to English language. Yes. They make sure that whoever is applying has a very good command of the language.
And how do they do that? Do you have to write TOEFL, IELTS, or getting an English proficiency certificate from your university is enough?
Unfortunately, it is not. You have to write a standard English test. You have to write TOEFL. You have to write IELTS. On special occasions or under different circumstances, they may consider the admission without the standard English test on condition that you do it within your first academic year when you are here.
Okay.
So they are very strict with regards to English. You need to pass the English test. Yeah.
Okay. So apart from that, what are the other requirements?
Basically, because of the structure of the postgraduate education over here, it is research intensive. You don't do 2-year coursework and get a degree. The maximum coursework is 1 year, and then the next academic year is fully focused on your own research. So before you apply, you must have a predefined research idea or project that you want to do. And that project that you want to do should be good enough to be published in a high impact academic journal.
Oh. Even for for masters?
Yes, for master. That is a condition for graduation. You cannot graduate without it.
Wow. So how many papers are you supposed to publish before you graduate?
For master degree, you need 1. Okay. You need 1, and then for PhD, you need 2 minimum.
Okay. And are you supposed to get a supervisor before enrolling in a master's program, or you enroll first and then the school will help you get a supervisor?
When I was applying, I didn't get a supervisor. It is not a requirement on the application process, but it is highly recommended because you need somebody who would be interested in whatever project you want to do. Okay. You need someone who will be interested in whatever project you want to do, and whoever accepts to supervise you, it's his or her responsibility to secure funding for you. So getting a supervisor is not a requirement on the application process, but it is highly recommended.
Oh, okay. So, and how is that done? For example, someone is watching you, the person wants to go to Thailand for master's degree. How do they get to contact supervisors or professors there?
So the good thing is that on the website, on the graduate school's website, they've indicated almost every postgraduate degree that they offer, and then the supervisors, their research areas, and then it is up to you, the student, to make contact with the supervisor to know whether he is accepting new students, new international students or not, okay, and whether he will be able to secure funding for you. Funding is available for international students. The problem is that it is not advertised by the school.
Okay.
So the school does give the funding to the supervisors. If a supervisor is interested in working with you, he can give you the funding.
Okay.
But submitting an application is not the same as submitting an application for funding.
So if you, okay, sorry. So if, assuming that you don't get a supervisor, okay, and you want to apply to the school directly, how are you going to get the funding? I mean, are there some scholarship offers that you can apply alongside, or how should one go about that?
There are scholarship offers, but these scholarship offers are program specific, depending on the academic year. So in different academic years, different programs advertise scholarships. From my experience, most of the scholarship within the last few years have been focused on the medical sciences, pharmacy, dentistry, medicine, and stuff like that. So these are the programs who really advertise their scholarships for application. And in those programs, when you're applying to those programs, your application for admission automatically becomes your application for scholarship. So once you are admitted, you'll be given the scholarship without the supervisor. But then in other programs, you'll be admitted without a scholarship. And it's quite difficult to do it without a scholarship.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, so if people, like someone doesn't get the funding and the person wants to fund himself or herself, is that possible?
It's possible.
But
it's possible to fund yourself.
How expensive is that?
It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy because for a postgraduate degree, the minimum tuition fee that I know of is about $2,000
for a year.
For a semester.
Yes. That's a lot.
It's about $2,000 per semester. That is the minimum that I know of.
Okay. So if you are going to spend like 2 years for your
minimum
master's, like $8,000, right?
$8,000 throughout the program, and then you also have to consider your
other expenses.
Living expenditure, yes.
That's also okay. So what is the cost of living in Thailand? Is it an expensive country?
It's relatively low.
Okay.
For me, it's probably the lowest I know of, because you can virtually survive on $200 a month. Okay. That pays your rent. It pays your rent, your utilities, your feeding. It's possible.
Oh, okay. Then I think that's not expensive.
It's possible to survive on $200, not at most $300 a month. Because even if you get a school scholarship, the stipend that comes is about $350 per month.
Oh, okay. And okay, and is it possible for students to work part-time?
Is it possible? No.
It's not possible. It's illegal, right? With the student visa, it's illegal.
No, with a student visa, you cannot do any form of work. And the truth is that when you consider Western countries, the US, the Canada, the kind of work students can do over there, you cannot do that kind of work when you are here.
Okay. But what about teaching English?
It's difficult for a student for a foreigner to go into unskilled labor in Thailand.
Okay.
Okay, but then teaching is available. Teaching is available if you can find it yourself.
Okay,
and you need to do that with permission from the supervisor.
Oh, okay. You need permission from your supervisor.
It's only legal if your supervisor allows you to.
Okay. So
unfortunately, there are not teaching assistance opportunities for international students because of the language. Most undergraduate programs are done in the native language, so it's difficult for foreign students to be teaching assistants.
Okay, so it means that I mean, you would advise that if someone wants to study in Thailand, it's better the person gets funding. If not, it will be difficult.
It will be very difficult. Once you are here and you stay for more than 6 months, you're able to understand how the systems work, how it's possible for a foreign student to get a part-time job without really affecting his or her education. So when you are here, when you are in here for about 6 months, you understand all this, and it becomes easy for you to find a job yourself. But then when you are coming in from the beginning, the best idea is you come with your own funding, unless your supervisor has assured you of funding, or unless the school has given you a scholarship.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so now let's get to the education system. How different is that from what you were used to in Ghana?
How different is it? I'll try as much as possible to not to implicate myself in anything. It's entirely different. It's entirely different because education here is, I would say, from my observation, is about 30% theory, 70% application.
Mm.
So in an academic semester, you don't do more than 18. No, you don't do more than, for a master degree, you don't do more than 9 credit hours for a master degree. So in a master degree program, the maximum credit hours that you do is about, coursework is about 18. And then your research also composed of 18. Now,
okay.
education over here is purely based on applying, it's purely based on research.
Okay. At the master's level, what about undergraduate? Okay.
Undergraduates as well. I'll say that it's based on research, because when I look at the kind of project work that undergraduate students do, it is completely different from what I did when I was in the undergraduate level. And when I look at the effort they put into making their projects, you see the undergraduate project and you see a work that solves a community problem. So the education system is entirely different from Ghana. It's purely focused on problem solving instead of theory.
Theory, okay.
The only advantage is that when you come from Ghana, because you have a lot of theory, it's not difficult to, as it were, merge with the system, because we have enough theoretical background from home. But over here, it's purely focused on research. Yes.
Okay, thank you. And so with that, what challenges did you face? I mean, when you went to Thailand the first time and then seeing that the system was a bit different from what you were used to, what challenges did you face and how did you overcome such challenges?
Okay, the first one was time difference. And then the second thing was the fact that I came from a place where in Ghana, your lecturers are regarded with some form of esteem and respect, so that it becomes, I wouldn't say it's difficult, but because of the respect you have for your lecturer or something like that, it's difficult to approach them entirely. That is my perception from the Ghanaian education system. Now over here, apart from the time
relationship, right?
No, the relationship is not. In Ghana, relationship is purely professional.
Yeah, but in Thailand, it's different, right?
In Thailand, it's professional, yes, but it's also casual.
Okay.
It's also casual in that you can go everywhere with your supervisor or your lecturer or any lecturer, or you can go to whatever you want to do. You can just invite him if he's available. He will find. They are also like open to inviting students to join the activities, going to the sport, going to do any sports, going to have lunch, going to do any. They are open to inviting every student. They don't. The gap is not that wide. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
The gap is not that wide. So apart from the time difference and the language, probably that was the only challenges that I have had over here.
So with the content, like the course content, you didn't face any challenge?
With the theoretical content, I didn't face any problem. I only had a problem with the research content, I have to admit.
Well,
there are so many things that
you are doing all in Ghana, right?
Theoretically, I didn't have a problem with theory. I have to be honest with you. I only had a problem with application. There are so many things that I wish I knew before I came here. But then there was no way I could have
Exactly
known
one of the
because
things I'm
nobody was
going to
talking
ask you,
about it.
like, what do you wish you knew before going to Thailand? So give us some examples of that. Since you've already mentioned that there are some things that you wish you knew. What are some of them?
Well, I wish I really knew how to use Microsoft Excel better than I did.
Okay.
I wish I knew how to use Google for academic purposes better than I did. And then there are so many things. For example, with regards to statistics, I didn't know much beyond the theory. I wish I knew how to do a lot more data analysis, because when I came here, I realized that the undergraduate students knew more about data analysis than I did as a master's student. They could analyze data and interpret it better than I did. So these are things that I wish I knew before I came here. Unfortunately, I didn't know because maybe I didn't search for them or because nobody was talking about them.
Yeah.
And I wish I knew something beyond descriptive analysis.
Okay. So, how did you overcome all these things? I mean, you got there, you realized that I don't know this, I don't know that. Undergraduate students know this. I'm doing masters, I don't know that this. So, how did you quickly catch up?
Sit down and learn.
Yeah. So you had to put
within my first 2 or 3 months in Thailand, I slept less than about 4 hours every day.
Wow.
Because there were so many things I needed to catch up. For example, we go to a class and then we'll be given an assignment. And the assignment requires that we use the MATLAB software. And the next day, my colleagues who are Thai students have finished.
And you will still be
the next day they finished. Yes, I could just go to see their solution, how they did it, understand the results. But I really don't understand the program. I didn't understand how they did it.
Yeah.
So I had to sit down. Mostly work from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m., 3 a.m. every day until I was able to catch up with them. I had an advantage because the advantage I had with regards to the theory. The theory that they were learning, we studied within the first semester. I had enough knowledge about them from undergraduates. So when they are busy trying to understand the theory, I'm also busy trying to learn how to do the MATLAB and the programming stuff. Yes. So these are things that the only way to overcome them is to sit down and learn.
Yeah. Okay. So what about the social life also? Did you experience any cultural shock?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. If you come from Ghana and you find yourself in any other country, in Asia, in Europe, in America, you realize that the culture is entirely different. One thing that I have noticed here is the fact that everybody, you're right, you have the human rights, yes, but respect for authority is optimal. You find a 50-year-old man asking permission from his 70-year-old man before he can go out of home. Yes, you find a married woman asking permission from her dad before she can go to meet a friend. So respect for respect for authority is optimum, and it doesn't matter how well or how high you rise academically. They always find ways of blending in. I'll tell you an experience that during my first year in Thailand, my supervisor picked me with a bicycle. Okay, that is something that for me, it was quite surprising because it would never happen anymore.
Yeah.
He just picked me with the bicycle. So I sat behind and then he was riding. And for him, it was okay.
But for you,
For me, it was like, no, it shouldn't be that way. So that is one particular thing with regards to culture is their respect for authority is optimum. And then their respect for parenting, for parents. They respect their parents more than they respect anyone. If their mom, if mom says don't do it, the wife cannot say do it. You don't do it. Yes. That's why you find women still seeking permission from
their parents.
their parents. Yes. And one problem I had was with food.
Food. Yeah, I was going to ask what about the food? Don't you miss the Ghanaian food?
Oh, I really do. I really do miss the Ghanaian food because everything is rice.
Rice, yeah.
Yes.
And
The difference is the what accompanies the rice. That is the only difference. Or the rice coming in different forms. But everything is rice.
Yeah, and do you have like Ghanaian markets or shops that at least once in a while you can have a feel of the Ghanaian food?
Well, we do. We do have a Ghanaian market in Bangkok, but I'm not in Bangkok, and it's like about 1 hour flight from me. So once a while, I just call some of the market women in Ghana to send me some food by post.
Oh.
Yeah. Once a while, I'll just call to get gari or kenke or stuff like that.
And isn't that expensive?
Well, it's better than eating rice every day.
Yeah.
It is. Yes, it is expensive, but it's better than, for me, I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
You can get, there's a Ghanaian market where you can get almost every local food. So
Food. Okay, so right now, can you tell us some of the pros and cons? You've already said that, but the pros and cons of studying in Thailand. If someone has maybe two options, Thailand and another country, why should a person choose Thailand?
For me, because in Thailand, you're able to learn how to do everything yourself. And studying in Thailand gives you a lot of research knowledge. The purpose of education is problem solving. And studying in Thailand is able to open you up as to how to apply what you are learning to solve problems. But it's most important that I find it most important that a research publication is a critical component of their postgraduate study, so that even if your research is not good enough, it should be good enough to be accepted by other people. This is something that I don't find in other countries, to be honest with you. So for me, this is an advantage for studying in Thailand. The disadvantage is, are there any?
Maybe the food.
Probably only the food, but with regards to the academic system, I don't see any disadvantage. I don't see any disadvantage because it is built to educate the Thai people to stay in Thailand. So there's no disadvantage.
Okay, so with all these experiences, how has you as a person, how has your life been influenced? How has your stay in Thailand influenced your way of life?
It's like a turnaround. For me, I see it as a turnaround. My first day at my department, I went there around 8 a.m. Because I had to do registrations and stuff like that. And then I was sitting in the room, and at exactly 12, somebody came to call me, Ben, let's go for lunch. And when I got out, it was like people have been ordered to leave their offices. Everyone was going for lunch at the same time. There was nothing like, I'll go for lunch. There was nothing like, I'll go for lunch at 3 p.m. and I'll not come again. No. Everyone was going for lunch at the same time. and at 8 a.m. everybody is at the office. So for me, it's been a life-changing experience.
Wow.
It's been, and one thing that I've also learned is the fact that they are very religious, but they put their academic knowledge ahead of their religion. So one thing for me, my experience in Thailand has been transforming.
Wow.
My way of life has changed. The way I think, the way I see things have changed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's great to know. So you're going to give us your final words, okay? But before that, since you're in Thailand, we would like to hear some Thai, some phrases or sentences in Thai.
You want to hear some words in Thai?
Not words, sentences. Sentences, not just words.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say something in Thai, just so that my Thai friends who are watching video will understand briefly everything that is going on.
Okay.
How do I start? Sawadi Krapinon, Pomche Benjamin, วันนี้มีประชุมกับทิชาเขาจะถามว่าถ้ามีคนจะเรียนที่ประเทศไทยต้องทำอะไรก่อนแล้วก็ประเทศไทยเป็นอย่างไรอาหารอร่อยหรือเปล่าแล้วก็ประมาณ20 นาทีที่เลยว่าคุยแบบให้เขาเข้าใจด้วยว่าที่เรียนที่ประเทศไทยคนไทยเป็นคนที่ดีที่สุดแล้วก็ใจดีด้วย Yeah, so that is
wow. How many years have you been there?
I think I'm in my 6th year.
Wow.
One thing is that because of the research components, the academic publication is a nuisance, but it's a necessity because it's a requirement before you graduate. You can do your project work, you can do your thesis book. If your research is not published, you are still a student.
Yeah.
So what it means is that it pushes the students to do something of great quality. Pushes students to do something of great quality. I think for me, this is one thing that in Ghana we should learn to add to our postgraduate education.
Yeah.
The academic publication should not be optional.
You must do it. You must publish a paper before.
You must publish at least one paper for master degree, 2 papers for PhD, and then you must attend at least one conference, academic conference within your study. And the good thing is that the school pays for the conference.
Yeah. So you just have to be there to learn something.
And if you get a publication, the schools pay for it, but pays only to your supervisor. So there is a motivation to get a publication. There is a motivation to get a conference. So there is no excuse to do a research that is, excuse me to say, of low quality.
Okay.
That is one thing. One reason why I invite all my friends to study in Thailand.
In Thailand, yeah. For quality education, yeah, Thailand is the place.
Education. And relatively it's cheaper compared to other places.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Benjamin Atta Owusu, for joining us here and then for letting us have a feel of how it is like to study in Thailand and for the phrases in Thai also. Yeah, I really appreciate that. And I hope to see you on our research spotlights where you share with us
the So with regards to the research spotlight, I would love to.
Okay. Yeah, we will talk more about that later on, and then we'll fix a date, and then where you would come and share the stuff you are doing with us. And viewers, thank you so much for staying tuned, and see you in our next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.